They had actually dug up a spot to put somebody in the ground.
Oh my God. Hey, everybody. I'm very excited. We've got another first-time home buyer. It's another single lady. Woo! Very excited about that. This is Shanta, and she's hanging out with me. Are you just sitting in your car, girl?
I am.
Having a conversation with me?
I am. My daughter wanted some Jamaican food, so we came to Salisbury to get her some food.
Oh, bring me some jerk chicken, will you?
She likes the oxtails. I got you, though. I got you.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So tell us about yourself. Single woman with your daughter. My gosh, where'd you guys buy a home?
So we bought a home in Lexington, North Carolina.
Cool.
It's about 40 minutes from where I used to live.
Now, was that because you had to afford it, or did you want to move to this area?
I wanted to move to a more rural area.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get into the whole details of your process. Give everyone your biggest tip. What did you learn from the whole process of buying a home?
Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused.
Wow. So what part particular did you need to stay focused on?
Just life in itself getting in the way. And sometimes you tend to forget that you have a goal. You know, I have 2 children, 2 grandkids. School was getting ready to start. One was getting out of school, graduating. The other one's trying to get back in school. My youngest that lives with me is going back to school. So it was just like a lot of life hitting me at one time, but I still had to stay focused.
Okay, well, that really opens my mind. I want the listeners to understand. So, girl, you got a lot going on. What brought you to my podcast and made you think, I'm going to buy a house?
Okay, so let's reverse back to 2019. I'm a veteran. And so I was working with another company and got pre-approved before COVID and couldn't get a COE. So it kind of discouraged me. And I was like, okay, well, by my 40th birthday, I'm going to buy a house. 40 came and went. I was like, no problem.
COVID will do that to you. It'll mess up plans.
Yeah. So 42 came and I was like, by the time I'm 42, I'm going to buy me a house. Life hit me. I ended up going through some stuff, moving. I was like, okay, pause for a little bit, but the thought was still there. And so I started listening to podcasts, was not looking for your podcast, did not type in your podcast. And I opened up my podcast app on the iPhone. Lo and behold, how to buy a home. So I said, well, I don't believe in coincidences.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it popped up, I don't know why it popped up. I'm glad it did pop up. So I would just like listen nonstop in my car, no matter where I went, in the house, at work. So I'm a paralegal and I was sitting at my desk working with the podcast on all day, every day. And I know you were like, well, you can skip around through this episode, find the ones that suit you. No, I went through all of them. I went back to the very first one where you said you re-recorded it because the sound on the first ones weren't good.
Yep. That's because I was in my kitchen in the middle of the night with a little microphone going, I think I'm going to be a podcaster.
Listen, I listen, and I still listen to them. Even though I had bought me a house, I still listen to them.
I'm so excited because thank you very much that you found the podcast. And I do believe it, but I'm so excited that your journey, what you did, sticking through it, through everything.
Yes.
Did you at least at the beginning a few years ago understand the advantages of what the VA loan could do for you?
Yes and no. Only because not being able to get my COE, it was kind of hard for anybody to say, hey, well, this is what the process is going to be.
Explain that for the civilians.
So a COE is a certificate of eligibility where you can pretty much purchase a home with no money down. And
I have seen that slow up a lot of deals.
Yes.
If you're a veteran out there and you want to buy a house, call for your COE today. I don't care if you're going to buy it in 2 years.
And so
it's the government, right?
I'm still trying to get my COE and I purchased a home.
Oh, your unicorn team have a way around that?
Yes. So what I did was I used a USDA loan because I knew I wanted to be in a rural area.
Oh, that's a great. because you're still looking at a zero down payment option.
Right. And so I was given the option. My team was amazing. Shout out to Carly Mann.
Oh, I love me, Carly.
Yes. And so broker, I don't want to put her name out there because I don't know if she's comfortable with that. But she was
That's all right.
amazing. When I say them ladies had me from day one, the minute I met them, you know, any question I had was answered. Off the clock, they were answering. I text 9 o'clock at night, I'm getting a response. So I was given 2 quotes, one for FHA and one for USDA. One for if I bought in May or if I purchased before May, because I worked 2 different jobs. And I was on one job for 2 years. And the paralegal, I had only been hired for like 8 months at the time. So
you needed the extra time for that income to qualify.
Right. And not waiting, I wouldn't have got qualified for nearly half as much as I got. Anything I asked, when I say it was smooth sailing, it was smooth sailing for me. I don't, honestly, real smooth sailing.
I mean, well, considering how much you have going on in your life, that's fantastic. When people think about lenders and they just think of it like a price tag and they just shop around for the right rate, just listening to you, understanding that the idea of, okay, before May or after May.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that your lender, your mortgage broker, actually, because you had the 2 of them together, it just goes to show that those online lenders, like, you never could have pulled this off. I mean,
no.
Those 9 o'clock at night phone calls and the planning, the shaping of how to do this, not just a number taker, right?
Right. When I say I met them and I asked the same questions I asked you when I first reached out to you. And it was funny because the energy I got from your response when I asked Carly, she looked at me and I got the same energy. She was just like, no. You don't want to do that. No.
Well, because let's tell the folks what was going on. You were doing what makes sense. You were like, hey, I heard about these deals.
Right.
Can I get these deals? And you were asking about tax properties and short sales.
Yes.
And that's all. Yeah, foreclosures. That's all stuff if you're an investor.
And that's what she was telling me. It was so funny because Carly is so mellow and I'm so frank. I'm just going, if it comes to my mind, I'm going to say it. And she's just so laid back, but professional and funny all at the same time. And so I'm telling her, I'm like, listen, she said, well, what do you need in your home? You know, my first meeting, I said, you want the truth or lie or what you want to hear? And so I'm telling her, like, look, truthfully, I need a garden tub. That was the first thing I told her. I need a tub. I don't want to be standing up. I need a separate shower and tub if there's going to be one. I said, my kitchen sink cannot be facing a wall. Cannot face a wall.
You want that like out the window view?
Yes, or looking into my living space. I said,
yeah. Not looking at your neighbor.
Right. I said I gotta have trees in the yard for my dogs and 4 walls. That was the same list I gave you was the same list I gave her.
Yep.
I said, if I can get a porch, that's fine. If not, that's okay. You know, long as it's stable and the foundation is good, I'm okay. And so she laughed. She said, okay. She made sure she put down trees. And so when I had to wait a couple months because I met with her in February. We did keep in touch up until then. We did, I reach out, she'll reach out. She wanted me to get my savings a little higher. So that was the only thing really I had to work on was getting a little more money saved. She let me know numbers up front, like, hey, surveys, inspections, any type of thing, appraisals. This is what the price range is going to look like. So this is what your out-of-pocket costs may be, give or take here or there. My first meeting, I knew about how much money I was going to need just to have the things that were needing to be done before the purchase. And
so important.
I appreciated that.
sometimes I go on Reddit and I smack myself in the head. Like, why did I even do that? Because I want to see the people who need help. And they're like, hey, I got under contract for the house and this appraisal, it's $600. No one told me about this. And I'm like, you wrote an offer on a house with no one telling you have to pay for an appraisal? It blows my mind. And for you coming in with zero down payment, but months ahead of time, your team was telling you you still needed to save money. And they gave you pretty much the right amount, yeah?
Here, where I'm at, you can shop around. But I went with the team, the people that she worked with, because she knows the quote, she knows. So when I say it was pretty much down to the penny, what I came out of pocket is pretty much what she told me. We had
for the inspector and the insurance and all that stuff?
Yep.
Wow.
It was pretty much down to the penny.
Which is important because you're watching home prices go up. You've already delayed this process for yourself 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
Your age keeps going up that we want to get in before.
Yes. When I tell people now, for my 45th birthday, I bought myself a house.
Yes. Oh, that is the best. And I'm assuming it's got the tub.
Yes. And trees. And the yard.
And trees. And a yard.
Yep. Yes, and 4 good walls. So my house is fairly new.
Oh,
I
good.
have a new build, but I'm not the first owner. So that's a good thing. That's another thing I heard you saying, like new builds, I think my house was built 2021, I think.
That was after the builder, so they didn't catch you in that thing where you have to use their team.
Yeah.
So, 2021, that person probably got a little equity and decided they were going to move up or do something else. Yet you got a home that you're not going to have to worry about those big ticket items for quite a long time.
Nope. So that was one of the things I was asking Carly about, because I was like, hey, Carly, with the house being so new, do you think I should do this? She said, of course. Of course. Just because it's new doesn't mean that you don't need to do the inspection. Just because it's new, it doesn't mean that you don't. She said, because you can find something that somebody else didn't catch. And that's what happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So during my inspection,
really?
Yes, during my inspection, shout out to the inspection guy. I don't know if he wants me to put his name out there, but he was real cool.
Hey, everybody just reach out to howtobuyhome.com and I'll get you in touch with Carly and she'll get you in touch with all her people.
Yes. So when I say thorough, he was thorough.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yes, but I didn't realize. I'm like, well, he went up in the attic and it was trusses that were broken, nails that weren't there, beams that had been split. And I'm like, but this is a new house.
Not expecting that.
Exactly. So that pretty much was like the only hiccup that there was, because I had asked Carly, I said, well, Carly, what if we put it in writing that we want this repaired and they wait till my due diligence is up before they kind of respond? Guess what happened, David? They waited until my due diligence period was up July 17th. They responded July 15th that they would repair it.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to get a structural engineer to come back out and sign off on it. So I paid for a structural engineer, which was perfectly fine.
I mean, it's funny because you said, I told her from the beginning that I'm Frank. No, you know what? Bring them all on like you, girl. I like Frank. And so does Carly, because it makes it so much easier. And, you know that they have until a certain time to tell you yes or no, I'm going to do the repairs. And then what are your options? If they say no, your only option is to bail on the deal.
But at that point, if you wait till after my due diligence, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
You get my money or you don't. You know what I mean?
So they came to you on the 15th and said that to you. And were they going to repair anything, or did they say no to everything?
No, they were going to repair it, but they just weren't going. We asked once the repairs were done to have a structural engineer sign off on it to say they were done correctly. They didn't want to pay for the structural engineer. They wanted to just repair it, which was fine. Because like I told Carly, I don't mind paying for an engineer to know that I have a good home. That's not a problem. So
did they extend the due diligence then until after the repair was? So you had to go in blind.
I asked her about that too. I said, so Carly, what if scheduled for the repairs to be done, but it doesn't happen until after this. She said, long as they make sure the repairs are going to get done, we can tweak everything else.
Great.
So when I say I asked pretty much any question that could go wrong, that I thought would go wrong, I asked. And let me tell you how Carly said it to me. I'm at work and I'm talking to her. I'm like, well, Carly, what about this? And what about this? She said, Shanta, when you need to worry, then you worry. But you have nothing to worry about. So don't worry. And I did not worry. I did not worry. When I say I've listened to horror stories with people buying houses,
yeah,
my team was smooth sailing. Communication. If your realtor, your broker, the team that you're working with don't communicate with you, run.
People ask me all the time. They're like, I met this realtor in an open house, and I don't know if they're right for me. I called them 4 times this week, and they haven't called me back.
You're not that busy. Nobody is that busy.
Especially now. I could text you in 4 seconds.
Exactly. My team was amazing. I tell them all the time, my team was amazing. I thank them so much. I know they got tired of me thanking them because I let them know I appreciate all of y'all, even the people behind the scenes. Carly had somebody working with her. Once I went under contract, I was working with somebody else. My broker, I went under contract.
Instantly.
Yes, I was working with someone else in lieu of working with her, in lieu of working with Carly, but it was other moving parts that they had their hands off, scheduling and doing this and doing that. So they're coordinating this behind the scenes and letting me know, hey, you have this appointment, this is what's coming up.
Well, the good teams do that so that we can do what we have to do, which is look at our phone and go, oh, Shanta has more questions. I can talk to her. And, we're answering questions all day long. Let someone else set up the appointments, do the paperwork. And like with your mortgage broker, that gets crazy because you talk to this person for 6 months and then you get under contract and suddenly this person called an underwriter needs information. And you're like, who the hell are you? I've been dealing with this other person. No.
Let me tell you about my broker. She was on top of her game. She said, they're probably going to request this, so let's just go ahead and get it.
Ahead of time.
Yes. If it was something that she needed, I tried to get it to her expeditiously. If she said she needed it, like it's 6:20 now. If she said she needed it at 6:20, by 7 o'clock, I had it for her.
It's a huge tip, and the underwriters will ask for stuff that you already gave to the broker a month ago, and and they feel terrible. We're like, I'm sorry, I have to ask for a new paycheck, even though it's exactly the same as the last one from last week.
And you know what? She was so sweet. She's like, I need another set of because I have my credit lock. I'm one of those people.
Oh, you had the actual lock on your credit score. Yep, I know that one.
Yes. So she's like, I need to run your credit. I was like, well, who do you need me to unlock so I can get? She was like, all 3 of them. And I said, well, are you going to need this done again before we close? So I just left it open for a month just to keep it so that she wouldn't have to call me and say, I need you to unlock your credit again. Check stubs, when I got them, I just went on and sent them to her.
As soon as you get it. Oh, okay, I'm going to send that away.
I mean, it makes her job and my job a little easier.
Yeah.
So if you already have what you need, I would tell anybody. I was telling Carly, I said, Carly, I can't even buy myself a piece of chicken if I wanted to. She said, Shanta, you can buy a piece of chicken. I said, no, because I have to put myself on a strict budget. And she just laughed. She said, I'm glad you think like that. I mean, it wasn't that tedious, but I knew what I wanted. I knew if I didn't stay disciplined, I wouldn't have it. So I had to really stay disciplined and focused. David, didn't I just tell you my daughter wanted some oxtails?
Yeah.
We eat out almost every day. Discipline is key.
Well, and it's funny because I'm in the middle right now of right before we got on together. I'm talking about the last lease ever and kind of explaining it again to people, and that preparation. Some people come into the preparation. It's the first time they ever thought about it. You had 40, you had 42. When you came in, you were like, just tell me what to do. I'm prepared to budget.
Right.
You know?
Listen, this is what was so crazy. I did a rate lock. The rate lock ended the same day my lease ended. Now, I had been telling the complex where I lived back in January, I'm not renewing my lease. I'm out of here. So this is before I reached out to you. I knew in my mind I was out of that apartment.
You had a goal.
I said I'm not renewing my lease. August the 8th will be my last day in this apartment. And I meant that. I said, I don't care where I'm going. I'm not staying in this apartment. Y'all not getting another $1,600, $1,800 out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do it. And so I stuck to it. I meant I was not going to be there. And my complex, I enjoyed the people that was in the office, but I told them I'm not, no. I'll see y'all when I come back through, but you're not getting no more. They thought I was joking. They really thought I was joking.
Have you been there a while?
I had been there 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, 3 years. I moved in August of 2022, and then moved this year, August 8th.
And you got a no down payment with the USDA because we couldn't get the COE for the VA.
Yep.
Which still leaves you the option at some point down the line, if you get that, you could look into refinancing either way if you ever felt like it. But your USDA, what's your payment right now and compared to your rent?
I have everything rolled into my mortgage. That was one of the things I wanted to do. My rent at my apartment complex with everything was like $1,600. My actual mortgage payment is a little more than $1,900, but with my homeowners and
insurance and your taxes,
it's $2,281. So I pay.
So you were 16 to 23.
Yeah.
So about $700 more a month. Let me ask you this then, for the people who are listening and realizing that you got into something that is zero down payment and something that you had to save for the closing costs and even were conscious, not buying chicken, so you knew exactly how much you had to pay for your inspections and all that.
Mm-hmm.
How has it been for you with the $700 a month increase? Were you ready for that? Did you already have that in your mind at the very beginning of this process?
You know what? I had budgeted in my mind $2,500.
Nice.
I always so that way if it comes under, I'm okay. It's a pleasant surprise. But that was I was like, okay, I expect my mortgage payment to be about $2,600. So when it wasn't, I was like, oh, snap.
And that was based on the home prices of what you saw for what you wanted?
So yeah, I had actually, let me tell you the horror story, okay? The one horror story we have. We went to go see one house. The photos online did not do the house any justice. Let's start there.
Okay.
We get there, and the only thing separating the backyard from the graveyard was a fence.
Oh, man.
They had actually dug up a spot to put somebody in the ground.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So we get in the house.
Oh, my God.
Let me finish. So we get in the house. I'm all of 5'3" with shoes on a good day, okay? The ceilings were so low, I could touch the ceilings.
Oh, my God.
Walking down into like the bottom level of the house, I thought I was going to bump my head. Now, my daughter's like 5'6". I'm 5'3" on a good day. I felt like I was going to bump my head. If you have been to the South, I went to a place in South Carolina where it was a kind of like a little store, club, bar. That's what the downstairs looked like. They had a counter. It was the home from hell. When I say the home, and it was crazy because I took my puppy out that one time. That was the one and only time, and she would not quit barking. It was pitiful.
Too many ghosts in the house from the graveyard next door.
Carly being Carly, me being me, Carly said, well, at least your neighbors will be quiet. I said, exactly.
Oh, my goodness. So
we laughed about that. Listen, I'm going to give people a tip. Do not always go off of pictures because they are sometimes doctored, and them can be pictures from 4 or 5 years ago. The house will not look like it did when you go see it.
And my advice I give to people all the time is it does go both ways.
Yes.
And I will let and that's a nice thing about how, like I said, I would love a frank client like you, because I would go, Shanta, look, we might miss the greatest house in the world because, frankly, some realtors stink and don't take good pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And that house might be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, what you got the other side of the spectrum with the cemetery house, where the realtor was kind of smart and like, oh, I don't show the ceiling, don't show the backyard fence, and they suckered you in.
One of the things I've learned to do, even when renting, always ride by. Different times a day,
I
different
love it.
times, all the time, just ride by. And so that was one house that we didn't get a chance to ride by because it had just got on the market. The way I tried to do it was find all the houses in one area, like in one city that I wanted to see, so that we can just make a day of those.
That area.
The market here is like it gets on the market and snatched up. So many houses that I wanted to see were taken off no sooner than we could schedule them. It was just, it hits. If you don't put an offer on it, you're going to miss out. I put one offer on a house sight unseen. I rode by. I loved the house. I walked the yard. It was just beautiful. So I called Carly. I was like, put an offer in. And she was like, Shanta, you haven't even seen it. I said, I don't
But
care.
you had the
Put the offer
confidence
in.
to do that because you guys had a good enough relationship.
She was like, all right, let me run the numbers. And I'll get back with you. Because I'm a paralegal and I had to do real estate, when we went to go see the house, I had all the deeds. And one of the questions on the form has the current owner owned the property for over a year? I said, well, Carly, this owner, he was actually the builder. The house had been sold a couple times and then he acquired the property again. I said, so he just got the property on May 4th. He hasn't had the property a year. So how does that affect the buying process? And so she was like, well, I don't know. That has never happened. So
yeah,
she had just worked a deal with that agent. So she was like, well, they have an open house. Go see the open house. And then if you still, want, then we'll keep the offer. Went to the open house, beautiful house on the inside. My kids loved it. It was nice. However, I would have been compromising. So that agent was like, well, we got one other offer that's supposed to be coming in, but right now yours is the only one that's on the table. That was on Sunday. Monday, Carly said she hadn't heard anything. Tuesday, she texted me back that afternoon and said, I got some bad news. They accepted the other offer. I'm so sorry. I said, why? I'm not upset. I said, I know how this game goes. And I told you from day one, what's for me will be for me. I'm not going to have to battle nobody to get what I want. The sellers will accept my terms and it'll be mine. And so that was the one house I put an offer on prior to the one I got.
Wow. So what happened with your offer on the home you got?
The house, they had it listed for $319,900. It had been on the market for over 40 days.
When everything else you have to write blind offers.
So listen, I called Carly. I'm like, hey, Carly, this is the house. I seen it. I went out there, but they're asking $13,900. It's been on the market for over a month. Can we go in lower since it's been on the market for so long? Here, if it's on the market 2 weeks, it's too long.
Yep.
So she was like, let me look into it and I'll get back with you. She called me back. She said it's overpriced for one, for that area. She said, so this is what we'll do. And I told her, I said, Carly, you're the professional. I trust your judgment. What you say is what I'll do. I said, that's just like me. You hire an attorney and you expect me to know how to do my job. You trust me to do my job for that attorney so that you can get the best that you can get. And I trust you to lead me in the right direction when it comes to purchasing a home. So she said, this is what we'll do. We'll go in with this number, ask for $4,000 in closing. And I had just asked about the refrigerator. I was like, you think they'll leave that refrigerator? So she was like, I'll put it in. So they accepted the offer, but did not want to give me the refrigerator. I said, that's cool. I'm not going to miss out on my house over a refrigerator, Carly. That's stupid.
Wait, did you get the $4,000 but not the refrigerator?
Listen, so I go to take her my due diligence check that afternoon. While I'm there talking to her, their agent calls. Well, the sellers did not see that she was asking for $4,000 in closing. And she's looking at me like, oh my goodness, this is not good. And she gets off the phone and she tells me, I said, Carly, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to miss out on my house over them not doing what they were supposed to be doing and the agent not doing what she was supposed to be doing. That's okay. I'm not going to miss out on my house. We read the contract. We read it. I asked questions about it. So I read what I was supposed to read. I said, but it's not worth it, Carly. I want that house. She was telling me how we can work it so that I still get what I want and they get what they want. I said, okay, no problem. Write it up again. Wrote it up again. They accepted it. Yep.
Wow. So she changed it. I'm guessing she changed it just to a different price because I think I saw like $313 was the final price, but
Yeah.
that was,
Yep.
And it appraised for that, so you were still able to get your credit.
Yep. At closing, I paid $31.25.
So, oh my good, I want people to understand it is not easy to buy a home. It is easy when you find the right people and you could close for $31.25.
Yep.
And
let me tell you why I was actually going to get a refund check.
Oh, yeah?
I ended up waiting to the last minute to get a home warranty because I assumed that they would have one, and they didn't. And so I had talked to my girl. I can't say her name, but I talked to my girl. And she sent me the information. And like I told Carly, I trust you. So I'm looking at the closing disclosure, and I'm like, well, where'd my money go? That's the guy's honest truth. I'm looking at it like, where the hell did this like, I was supposed to be getting damn near $1,000 back. Where did this money go? So I'm talking to Carly, and she's like, oh, yeah. So your numbers are going to change because we went on and got the home warranty. Remember? And we had talked about it, so it wasn't no big deal to me.
Yeah.
And she was like, because you had mentioned certain stuff, I have a septic tank. So that was an issue for me to make sure my septic tank would be covered. So that was an add-on fee. And I ended up paying $31.25 after all was said and done.
Wow. That's incredible. And to be in that position now, and like you said, this was a life goal, and then it was a little bit of a change. You wanted to move out someplace more rural. And how's it going out there? Are you enjoying it?
I love. I asked the neighbor because I live in a cul-de-sac. It's like I live in a housing development, which I really didn't want, but the development don't even feel like a development because the houses are so far apart, but close enough. And it's 4 houses on my cul-de-sac. So I asked the neighbor, I was like, are they going to put anything else out here? He was like, no. And that was one of the things that I wanted to make sure if I found a home that they weren't going to be, one, I have to get up early in the morning. My daughter's in school, so she's, you don't want to be up late doing schoolwork and then construction trucks moving through at 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning and start working. So that was a concern of mine. But where I'm at, David, if it's dark outside, you see the color of your shirt? That's how dark it is outside. It's pitch black.
Wow.
You cannot see your hand in your face if you step outside. When you turn down our street, your headlights are the only lights you see. You see nothing else. And the sight distance is so limited. You better cut your high beams on. It's peaceful. I hear the crickets. I hear the frogs. I hear my bearded dragon walking across her tank.
Oh my gosh.
It's that peaceful. It's that peaceful. Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad that you found us and you ended up finding that team because you're a go-getter. And if you didn't get with the right team, you might have done this before 40, but maybe you could have been one of those horror stories. And instead, you end up being in your peaceful place listening to the frogs. I love it.
Looking back on it, I was telling my daughter, I said, even though I got approved when I was 39, my mind wasn't prepared to be a homeowner. I wasn't in a space mentally to be a homeowner. And I had to go through not being able to get my COE, not being able to the right people around me to put me in that mind state. And so when I was in the last house that I was in prior to this apartment, I had put in my head, I said, I'm going to buy me a house. My move, after I move out of this apartment, because I knew then I was going to move into an apartment. I said, once I move out of that apartment, it'll be into my own. It pushed me harder because the guy, I was renting from a private owner, and his wife, they lived in a different city, but they weren't sure. It was initially a year. So I started looking after a year for a place. And then he was like, well, you want to stay another 6 months. 6 months come and I'm putting in applications, paying rental fees. And then when I'm getting ready to move, he's like, oh, would you like to stay again? See, I can't deal with that wishy-washy. I need stability. And so once I found the apartment, I put in my mind, I gave myself a year. I said, I only want to be here a year. A year turned into 2. I said, okay. I was still in school full time. My daughter was in school, so I wasn't able to work and do like I wanted to do, but I knew I was not going to be there this year. I knew it in my heart. I just knew I was not going to do it. And so I had to go through having I don't like to say my landlord being wishy-washy. I had to go through the uncomfortableness and being in an apartment with people above me, below me, complaining, beside me, loud music. I had to go through that to say, you know what? You ready now. You know what I mean? You're ready. Had you did this 5 years ago, you would have been. And I tell people, I would have been one of the statistics that was in foreclosure. I know in my heart because I was not mentally prepared to be a homeowner. And now it's like, even though I can quit the job that I was working part-time, I'm like, nah, I got to get my bank account back right because I'm a homeowner. I can't just go out willy-nilly spending $1,000 anymore. I got to have money in reserve for if something breaks. I got to, you know?
But that was such a great description. It's not necessarily being disparaging to, landlords or neighbors. It's just, at this point in my life, I want control.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you want control, you decide that there are certain things that you're willing to sacrifice to get that.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, you found us and you were able to, the process was smooth. And now all you got to do is keep things going.
Yes. Listen, I told my daughter, I said, you need to start saving your money so in 2 years you can be a homeowner.
Uh-huh.
I kid you not. Because a lot of people, and I'm not saying it's not hard for some people. It may be harder,
Yeah.
For me, I would tell anybody, even though you think you might be ready, you might not be ready. And everything that looks like it is a misfortune might be a blessing because I found the right team. Everything was so smooth. Closing day, I kid you not, I was scheduled to close at 10:30. Paperwork did not get sent.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, I got upset. I really did. I got upset and I got discouraged. And then I had to stop and think about it. I said, you know what, Shanta? What are you upset for? Everything has been so smooth. It would have been too much like right for closing day to just be perfect. When I say my whole process was so smooth. I mean, when I say nothing was wrong, you ever just wake up and have the perfect day? That's how my home buying process was. It was perfect. And then closing day was like, okay, well, we got to push it back to this time. Push it back to this time because the isn't there. And I just had to look at it like it was too right for something not to go wrong. So I can accept this. I went to, I will shout out Atlas Orange because they are the best.
Okay.
Those are my closing people.
Great.
They told me you can come and sit in the lobby because your paperwork is on the way. I drove 20 minutes to get to them, sat in the lobby. I promise you, me and my daughter were taking pictures in that lobby area. Went to sign my documents. I promise you, the way they make closing seem on TV, it is not like that. Nothing like it.
Yep.
Nothing like it. Listen, I waited longer in the lobby than it took me to sign my documents. You're laughing,
Yeah.
but I'm so serious. And
I know.
Why? Because I had a team that we went over everything prior to me getting to closing. So line by line on my closing disclosure, I went line by line on that. Any question that I had was answered. And if I didn't understand it, they got together and helped me understand it. So when I got to closing,
no surprises.
It was really nothing. She was like, well, do you need me to do this? I said, no, baby. You tell me what I'm signing because I've already went through these papers. You just make sure I get a copy of them.
My team and I went over this already.
Yes.
I was just waiting for you to print this crap up.
Yes.
Let's go.
They are amazing. I'm a shout out Carly Mann with Remax Realty. She is the best. When I say the best, she's the best. Because that team, her, my broker, the behind the scenes people, it did not matter how silly I felt my question was. They made sure I understood. They made sure I was clear before we got off the telephone. Number wise, when I say Carly gave me the numbers almost down to pennies, I knew what I was looking at. I knew, and even when things, I was like, well, what about if I do this? And what about if I do that? She was like, okay, add another this or add another that or take away this or take away that. But I'm going to suggest that you do all of this for your peace of mind. I said, okay, well, if that's what you suggest, that's what I'm going to do. When I dealt with my mortgage broker, we ran different numbers. She was like, now just keep in mind, this is for this. She always quoted me for higher than what the,
yes.
Say like the house was 320. She quoted me for 325.
That's great.
Yeah, just so that, what if I have to go up to 325? It's not a shocker when you know what I mean? So I knew what to get prepared for. That's why I said I already knew in my mind 2600. So when she gave me these numbers, I'm looking at her like, are you serious? She's like, what? I was like, this is cheap.
Yeah.
It was so cheap to me. And for somebody that might be expensive. But for me, that's one of the questions you asked. What are you comfortable paying for mortgage? That was one of the first things they asked. What are you comfortable with paying for mortgage? I said, I would like to stay about where I'm at, but if I have to go up, I'm perfectly fine with that. I didn't want to put myself in a position where if I was to lose my job, I couldn't pay my bills. So that was my main concern. If I can't pay my bills without having a job, I don't need it. And so I'm able to pay my bills. Even if I was to lose my job right now, I'm still able to pay my bills. I won't be in foreclosure.
You know what? With the team that you have right now, it doesn't matter what life throws you in the next little while. You've got phone calls and a team that is going to make sure, because they know they've already set you up, and now you've got someone to watch your back for life.
Let me tell you, I met a lady who was she was selling her house, but she lives in California. She's out there with you somewhere. And I was talking to her, and I'm like, oh, let me hook you up with my lady, because she's amazing. My team is amazing. I called Carly. I'm like, hey, Carly, do you mind if I pass your number along? Because this is what's going on. She was like, oh, sure, no problem. I'm like, look, reach out to my girl. She got you. You know what I mean? But her house was under contract. So and then she texted me a couple of days ago that deal fell through. It didn't work out. So the girl, you better reach out to my people. They're going to have that house sold for you in no time.
Well, but I think the thing that is my favorite part of the whole story is that you had a goal, you adjusted the goal, you even had a house with a fresh grave, but because you had enough preparation with your team, we're sitting here right now and talking this story about you're telling me how easy it was, and you bought a house, what did you say, $31.25?
Yep.
That's incredible.
Yes.
I love it.
Let me tell you, I wanted to tell you this too. You did another interview with someone, and it was a guy. I cannot remember his name. But he said he knew he needed to get out of his 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment because he had 2 dogs, a cat, and a bearded dragon.
Oh, yeah.
When I tell you, I woke up out my sleep and I screamed out of it and I sent it to my kids. I was like, is David inside my house or something? Like, it's no way. David, I have 2 dogs, a cat, and a bearded dragon. A fish and a snail. He said his apartment is too small, all of us. And I was like, absolutely. And it was just so funny because I said, I understand what he's going through. I sent Carly a video of my puppy running around that yard and I can feel love. And she was like, this is why I do what I do. This makes me happy when I get stuff like this. You know what I mean? And everybody does not appreciate their team, but I appreciate mine. You know, I understood she still had a life outside of me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted her to still be able to do the things that she wanted to do because you're human. You know, you have other people that you work with. I'm not your only client, but I want you to know that I appreciate you. And if you can't make it, you can't make it. That's okay. We're going to get together. You know, and I tell you, I did not think anything was a coincidence, you know.
Yeah.
Father's Day, she came out. And so I thanked her husband like, hey, thank you for sharing her with me on your day. You know what I mean? Because she didn't have to come out on Father's Day to show me a house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that to me meant more than anything because people tend to forget that they're human too. They have lives outside of their clients. And I wanted her to know that I appreciate her. I wanted her to know that I appreciate her husband. I appreciate her kids because they shared her with me. You know what I mean? Thank you for connecting me. You know, I want
nights and weekends is part of the game, and Father's Day comes right in the middle of the busy season. And I got to tell you, when we get people like you who recognize that, it's a wonderful thing. And
you know, I really want to thank you from my entire heart. You know, I really do. Not just for your podcast, but just for doing what you do and the passion that you have behind it.
It's because of people like you.
You know,
I love it. It's because of people like you. And the more stories that get out there, the more people are going to understand there is a better way to do this.
Yeah.
And like I say, you can do this. I
done told my sister, I said, I'm going to send you this podcast I want you to listen to. I need you to, I'm serious.
I love it.
Listen, I found one other podcast that's trying to be like you. I won't call them out, but if you look on there, you will find them.
I probably know.
But they are not you. They are not you. They do. I promise you. I tried to listen to one episode and I was like, what in the hell? What the F are you telling people?
Yeah, it's thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. And it is very sad that I have to come on and make sure that people hear the right thing.
Yeah.
But it's a big world, and when people connect with the right people, I can't stop all the horror stories, but the ones I can't stop are amazing. And it's such, I appreciate all that you say for me, and I appreciate all you say about thanking them. I'm reading between the lines with what you're saying, and you did a lot, and you should be very proud of yourself too. Well, first of all, you should be very proud of yourself for listening to every episode of me. And girl, I don't know, that's just nuts. How weird is it for us to be talking in person and not just like coming out of your speakers?
Yes, it's weird. I was so excited. I was like, I'm finally get to meet him. I don't want to sound like a fangirl, but I'm a fangirl. I seen the shirt, right? And it was like, homies. And I started to buy it and wear it for today. I was like, no, I don't have to wear it. I don't have to let him know I'm a homie. My daughter she was like, Mommy, what does he mean? Like, how to buy a homie? And I was like, the podcast is called How to Buy a Home. She was like, oh, homies.
She's too young for you know, the homies from the 90s that were Little the Things and Homie the
Yeah.
Clown and Homie the Clown from Living Color. Like that was, you know.
Actually, my child has an old spirit. They listen to a lot of the older stuff. She knows Homie the Clown from In Living Color.
Okay.
They, you know, she's only 22, but she's a lot wiser than most 22-year-olds.
Well, when you reach out to a realtor and a lender and they don't call you back and they don't give you the right information, I give you full permission, everybody, to say, homie, don't play that and move on and get a unicorn.
Okay.
I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate you coming on today. Wear your shirt with pride. Send me a picture of it on your front porch. That's what I want to see.
I sure will. And can I do the closing today?
Oh my God, yes, go.
You can do this.